A hydraulic clutch we're going to try and install in the Pitster Pro, and he bought it from eBay. I'm assuming it's inexpensive. So this is the hydraulic clutch, and we're going to install it in the Pitster. It comes with everything you need. It's got the levers, it's got the clutch, and it's got a steel braided line. So this should be an interesting plug and play thing. I have not installed a hydraulic clutch before, but the one thing to keep note is that the clutch on this Pitster Pro is really stiff, and when I rode this bike it was terrible. It does feel very vague. It doesn't seem to give you any good feedback, and when you push in that clutch it's kind of hard to get a feel for it. So hopefully this is going to fix the problem. The clutch on this thing, it is so hard, and the goal today is to replace this cable clutch with a very nice Chinese, inexpensive eBay clutch that we have right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, one of the problems that we do have that we didn't notice, and usually when you install things from eBay, they're not exactly the right fit. So
modifications usually require more modifications.
Yes. So this lever, the mirror, we're going to have to lose it, but we're going to get the other side of this and then just relocate it. The perch where the mirror is, which also supports the shift lever, we're going to pull that out.
The mirror is hopefully going to get reattached.
There's also a sensor here, which might be the neutral or something.
Oh, that's to start it. Oh shit.
So we might have
I
to.
think you have to pull the clutch in to start.
Okay.
So that's what that sensor's for. Because I don't think you can start it without pulling the clutch in.
We'll have to figure it out. We can remove the cable. That way we can slide this out. But before we do that, we're just going to let that hang, because we're going to thread the existing hydraulic cable through the same place. We have to kind of figure out where it's going. Oh, I'm going to have to pull all of this out. So you have to slide it in from here. So that means all of this has to be removed.
No way.
Yeah.
Because can you pull this all the way? Oh no, you have to just remove it.
Well, there we go. So you want to keep this, right?
I think so for now. Yeah.
It's in there pretty well. There we go.
Oh man, look at that. They make you, oh man, those bastards. All they had to do was just design it like this. You know what I mean? All right. So why can't I?
All right, so I got the cable routed, and I'm not exactly sure if this even will work, but I don't have it on. The cable for the clutch is here, and I'm going to just pull it and remove it. And if I have some pliers, I should be able to reach it without too much. So we'll have to remove this. This is 8mm. Just gonna slowly back it up. Remove the 8mm bolt, and you should be able to thread this cable out of the way. So here it comes.
Wherever they're staying, wherever they're living, they have to drive. Your sense of humor will be your key. You have to have a threaded gas cap. So my question for you.
The exhaust, there's the nut, there's a small washer, and then a bigger washer. First bolt is easy to get, but the second one, you actually have to use a open wrench this way and remove it. This is the clutch cable, and it's hydraulic. I did remove this bolt. You don't have to remove that from here, but I am having clearance issues, so what I'm going to do is remove the exhaust. And then there's a couple more bolts here. Let's see where else. There's this one here. We're going to have to undo this. We have to move this in order to get the clutch cable in there. So not exactly a perfect system, but that's what we have to do. So, all right, using a 6mm, undo this. This doesn't hold the shock, it holds the exhaust, but it's very confusing. So right here, we're going to remove this. This one should be fairly easy. Phillips screw. This is the rack that my friend put on the bike, and it's pretty loose. So, and that's something that is wrong with this system. I believe there's that's why it's wobbly. So we'll fix that as well. But we're gonna undo this one. And there's a spacer right here. Using a 12 millimeter. Another annoying thing that you have to do in order to remove this, it's either you kind of push it and slide it, but I don't want to ruin the plastic, so what we have to do is remove this rack. I don't see another way about it. With the rack off, we should be able to slide these out. There we go. Might as well do a full revision on it and look around. I like how hard it is to get to the fuses. I think that's kind of like a big downside because you have to remove the rack, or at least a couple of bolts to remove it, but now it's out of the way. It's easy to kind of like look around. Believe it's a pretty well engineered bike. It's just maintenance wise, it's a little bit difficult. This is the bolt that's holding up that exhaust. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. What an annoying system. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to remove this just so I can slide it around. The header is kind of tied up. I didn't remove it from the frame. It is a pain in the ass to do. And what we have here is the clutch getting ready. So this time we're going to do exactly what we wanted to do, which is the clutch, the hydraulic clutch. We're gonna have to figure this out, but is the mechanism. And the reason I had to remove this is because this bolt here, I cannot get the bolt onto the frame so it holds it when the exhaust is there. And this way, I should at least be able to move it a little bit better. So we're gonna figure this out. Okay, there we go. And there we go, just flew right off. Easy peasy. Moved it in order to get it in there. There's the bolt where this goes like that. So there's not a lot of clearance, and I am worried about it heating up because it's right next to the exhaust header. It is very stiff, and also it points to a very different place than this little contraption. So we're gonna have to be very careful so we don't snap anything off onto here. And this is a little bit tough because the cable just does not want to go in the way we want to go in. So just to add to the insult of some of the pieces of this bike, by the way, this is the new clutch lever. So I have a series of these hex to get onto here, but I don't have anything of that size. Even my smallest of small will not get into it. So the only way is to get a bunch of microcomputer adapters, and that's the only way I know how to do it. But that's ridiculous that I have to use a computer adapter like this to get this out. So this is the shifting mechanism. The cable is going to go here, and then it's going to pull and shift this. You have to make sure that you have enough play here. Of course, you can kind of loosen this bolt and lift it up and move it. And the slave cylinder goes here. Now, the exhaust header actually goes down right in front of it. So it's a little bit strange because I wish it was a different way. This gets very hot. So this is the first time that he's going to be shifting with that hydraulic clutch. I hear him shifting, so the clutch is working. If you look inside here, it does not hit the exhaust at all. And the problem is that when you put in the exhaust and you don't tighten it the way it should be, it kind of comes down a little bit lower. And I think the problem is that the exhaust header was not on there perfectly because we were testing it. Hydraulic clutch does fit this Pitster and it does work. And very little play. Don't be alarmed when the little arm here doesn't move very much. Remember, you're just looking for a friction point, not the type of travel that you would have on a wire cable. So this is alarming though, because it is so close to the exhaust header. You could actually like rotate this, you know, loosen those nuts. You can fit 12 millimeters in there and just kind of rotate it down. But one of the things I don't like is the really long steel braided line. This really should be a 90-degree bend or 30-degree bend of some kind and much shorter. But this way it does work. I'll probably just zip tie it. So I am going to be zipping this up and I want to take it for a little spin just to see how it behaves. Take my first trip on the Pitster. Now, I know that I haven't been putting up a lot of videos of this, but I've been fixing it up. The thing that held me up was the hydraulic clutch. So I am going to be testing out the hydraulic clutch. It's a Chinese hydraulic clutch, and it's funny enough, this is a Chinese bike, but the quality is a lot better than most Chinese bikes. This is a Pitster Pro xtr250. I believe it's like a clone of the Honda 230. So it's a decent bike. So I haven't finished doing everything to it. I haven't put the left handguard, and I also have not put this right side pannier because I need to get a bigger bolt for this, but that's about it. There are some flaws when it comes to this bike. The airbox, that's very annoying, is under the seat, and the battery is under the seat. So that's not a big issue, but because of this rack, in order to get the seat off, you have to remove the rack. So you have to remove the entire rack. So hopefully the battery just doesn't die, because it is a pain in the ass to get off. Another thing to note is that I did change the sprocket, the rear sprocket. So we went from I think it's like a 45 to a 38, so it's going to be a much better highway bike. So before it was geared very much for just riding on dirt, a little bit more torquier, I'm assuming, and I've only ridden it a little bit, so I haven't ridden very much. I tested out the hydraulic clutch, it does work, but the sprocket is going to help out. Now here's the benefit over the Japanese bikes. It's got a backup kickstarter and an electric starter, so that's kind of fascinating. And it's got electric start. You can turn on and off the bike, you can turn off the lights. The start button is actually on the left. It's very odd. So we're going to take this thing for a little spin and see how she performs. You do have to bypass the kill switch in order for it to work. So here we go, first gear. Actually, this stretch of road is gonna let me test out, I guess, its top speed. I can't imagine that the top speed on this is very high. Hey, biker guy. So let's see what it does. Miles an hour, 50. 53. We're going uphill, so 57. Yeah, I can't. The knobbies feel very vague. 55, 57. .57, 58, 60. Oh, I almost made a full speed run. Yeah, this little Chinese bike has a pretty high degree of fit and finish. I think the downside, so my friend bought this brand new for like $2,800, and that's a steal at that price, especially now with COVID. Bikes that are like 250s are selling for like $4,000 to $5,000. So there's a group of riders that ride these bikes in particular. They even have a 450, and they really love them. Clutch is not like a one finger clutch, but the pull is actually like really low. See, like right there, it's right at the bottom, so I think I have to do just a little bit of adjustment. That's why it's not shifting into neutral perfectly. It's because the adjustment is just a little bit off. Knobby tires do not help. .56 miles an hour. Well guys, that's the Pitster Pro, and it's my first Chinese bike that I've ridden in a very long time. The last Chinese bikes I've ridden were horrendous, mostly scooters. And even the Taiwanese bikes, they tend to be only slightly better. Like Kimco, Genuine. But this is kind of a cool bike. It's a dirt bike, so it's built like a dirt bike. It's cheap to make, I think. It does feel good. It feels like a very good bike to ride. And it sounds great. The stock exhaust is light. It's not like one of those super heavy ones, but I do like bikes to be a little bit less noisy because I like to stay nice and stealthy. This one's loud, but I think if you buy one of these, I think you'll be surprisingly happy. Well, Squids, that's the ride for today. I'll probably be doing more videos on this. I might even take it off-road. So I just gotta do some more changes to this, get it all done, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.